Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Cassie. I'm very pleased to be moderating this lovely panel on What Lights the Moon, where we'll talk about the ins and outs of everything that goes into making the wonderful event that is Moonlit Academy. Work every week. As many of you may know, Moonlit Academy is one of our main weekly events offered by the Academy every Wednesday. It's filled with icebreakers, live performances from the community, and live DJ sets and dancers to help everyone relax and prepare for the next half of the week. And today I'm joined by the wonderful folks whose amazing efforts have been the reason behind Moonlit's status as the amazing experience we all know it and love it to be. And so without further ado, I'd say starting from Jesski, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Jess. I've been on the Moonlit NA team for probably about 6 months or so now, and just kind of help out with a little bit of everything.
Hello, my name's DoubleLunch. You can call me Double. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the Moonlit Academy supervisor. I oversee all the operations of Moonlit Academy.
Hi, my name is Trix, or Eccentrix if you know me in VR. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the EU hosts. I've been doing it for about 9 months, 10 months now.
Hi, my name is Naya. I use she, her pronouns, and I perform at Moonlit every week. Barring extenuating life circumstances, I'm on like 13 Moonlits, I think, at this point. I compose, I compose every week a new piece depending on the theme, and sometimes I do covers as well.
Hi, my name's Haley. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm one of the DJs who play at Moonlight.
And I'm Cassie. I'm also one of the coordinators and hosts for Moonlit NA. It's so great to be here. We have quite a few questions to go through. We'll see how many we can do. But to start off, I'd love to hear from everyone from your perspective. What is Moonlit to you? And starting this time with Haley.
Moonlit to me is more of a safe space to more so be yourself, not really have to worry about, well, hiding anything, keeping the truth about yourself closed up, and just having fun.
Well, Moonlit for me, usually, it's a place to hang out with friends and also a place to perform and get better at performing. It's like a once a week type thing that I can set a goal to and set a deadline to. Okay, I need to write this piece by Wednesday. I need to practice this cover and over again until Wednesday. It sets a good deadline so I don't procrastinate. And if I do procrastinate, I screw up the performance, which is a very good motivator to not procrastinate. And that's usually what Moonlit is for me, a place to perform and a place to hang out with friends and a place to have fun and listen to amazing DJs like Haley and a million others, and also to watch amazing dancers. It's always been an extremely fun time.
I think for me, it's definitely like the break in my week. You know, it's every Wednesday, so I have that like busy Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. And on Wednesdays, I'm like, yes, Moonlit Day. I get to hang out with friends and just do things that I love, you know, for a few hours, and super fun.
To me, Moonlit is an amalgamation of the things that I love most about VR chat. It's a place to hang out with friends and be with people who have similar experiences to me. It's a place where you have live music performances every single week. It's a place where you have a DJ, you have full body tracking dancers, you have icebreakers and socialized or structured socialization to make even more friends. It's just the coolest event that I've been into in VR chat so far. Might be a little biased, but I think it stands on its own merits too. Moonlit is just endlessly inspiring, and just like Haley said, it's a safe space.
Yeah, and I guess on top of everything that they said, I think it's also a really great place to see a lot of the talents that the community can bring, from singers, songwriters, all kinds of different performers, even artists who just pick up a random pen in the instance and start drawing. There's so many super creative people that show up at Moonlit every single week, and it's such a joy to see.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with each and every one of your points. It's been one of the best events I've ever been at for myself personally, and really how a lot of people can get out of their shell. Now, moving on to our next question. I'm sure we're all curious how you found out about Moonlit and what was the event like when you first joined? Starting from Jess.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I found it I guess it would have been late December, early January, something like that, on the old map. And I remember joining and being absolutely terrified to say anything at all to anybody. Like, I was so scared to approach anyone in the instance, but I do remember specifically double finding me while I was like hiding in the grass in a tiny avatar. I was like catching a Pokemon or something. And she just they just checked up on me and asked if I was doing okay and everything, and kind of pulled me out of my shell at the time. And I can't thank you enough for that. But that's kind of how I found it. And then over time, it kind of helped build my confidence a little bit into being able to host eventually and everything. So it's an event that means a lot to me.
Well, thanks for that. I'm glad I came to talk to you too. I'm glad I made a difference. I first found out about Moonlit. This is way back when. This is Moonlit #1. We're on Moonlit number 60 whatever for NA and like number 40 something for EU at this point. But I was there for Moonlit #1. I'm part of the Thea generation. I found the Academy through the Thea video. And so I joined shortly after that came out and showed up to a comfy coffee hour, and I thought it was awesome. I just wanted to get involved more, so I was just on the Discord the whole time, and there's this new event that showed up called Moonlit Academy. I'm like, oh, okay, I have no idea what this is, but I just want to get involved in the community a little bit more. So I went, and it was awesome. Um, as far as what the event was like, it's funny because in a lot of ways, the event was exactly the same that it is today, and in many other ways, it's completely different. It's exactly the same way that it's a cozy, sort of relaxed nighttime vibe. There's music going on. There's friends hanging out. It's a special sort of vibe there, a special place, and it's completely different. It was on a beautiful yet tragically unoptimized map. We didn't have any structured icebreaker activities or anything like that. We didn't quite have the DJs or the full body tracking dancers going yet, so it didn't have quite as many features. And of course, it's also much smaller. That first Moonlit, there were probably maybe 30 to 40 people in there, versus now, as of this week, NA has filled up the instance to 80 people 10 times in a row, and EU, I think, is at least twice in a row now and has done it several times as well. But yeah, Moonlit has always been a fun place to to hang out, and it's cool how it's grown but still kept its identity.
Yeah, I was pretty early on. I was staff back when Moonlit was started, so I was in the fateful community team meeting where the original creator Sukino turned to our fearless leader 1B and said, "I have an idea for a social hangout, a weekly event, and the birth of Moonlit, basically." But I actually had a really bad work schedule at the time, so I missed the first few Moonlits, and then one week I get asked, "Hey, can you help out?" And I'm in instance, and they're like, "You need to do the announcements." I'm like, "You do announcements?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And you need to coordinate with the dancers. And I was like, "There are dancers now?" And like, "Yeah, and a DJ." I was like, "What?" And it's been pretty cool from that point to getting to attend more and see everything that's developed with all like the performers and the DJs, the dancers. We have icebreakers and wind down activities, and it's the entire event is like shaped itself over the course of over a year now of Moonlit being its own thing.
I found out about Moonlit back in, I think, when I first found out about the Academy through the Fear video as well. and I went to one or two, and it was very, very fun. But then my headset cable broke, so I couldn't actually get into VR for a very long time. And then I got a Quest 3 and a new link cable, and I went back in April. And ever since then, I've been attending as many as I possibly can. And it's been very, very fun.
For me, it's kind of a double-sided coin, I guess you could say. I found out about Moonlight from one of my close friends, Grizz, who was one of the DJs who DJs here at Moonlight every now and then. He introduced me to it, and then Double was the one who actually got me into it, moreover. And I've been DJing there for little over since March or April, if I remember correctly.
Lovely. I know my first experience with Moonlit had to have been somewhere around the October season. Just a shy little bird, didn't know what I was doing just yet, and hung out on the sidelines, much like Jess, but got quickly welcomed into the community by amazing folks, and especially Double, who eventually managed to pull me on to the staff team as well, and I've been helping out ever since. Now, starting from Haley, you touched on it a little bit in your introduction to Moonlit, but what made you want to get more involved with the event than you already were at the start?
Just the reaction, the excitement, the energy that Moonlit had, how it wasn't so much of a bunch of random people just present. It was a community, a whole group focused around improvement, each other, and just having fun.
That's I remember back when I first ever started, from August, which is when I heard about the academy in 2023. I wanted to get involved since then because I saw a performance of Rises the Moon by Leona Flores, and that touched me very much. So I cried during the performance, and I wanted to touch people as hearts like that. And I was planning to get involved since then, but again, VR headset broke. And when I came back in April and I saw more and more performances, and I saw Hachika's performance, uh, it really inspired me to want to get as good as Hachika and want to get as good as so I can make people feel a lot of emotions and get more involved in community and help the community as well grow and thrive. And if I can do that through my music, I absolutely would, because I love this community, and I will keep dedicating myself throughout the community. And yeah.
For me, I think it was when I first kind of went to a Moonlit, I knew no one there. And a friend of mine who happened to be in the instance at the time, despite the fact that I didn't realize she was there, was like, hey, you should meet this person named Double. They're pretty cool. And just like everyone else, it seems, you got us in. But, you know, once I met you and a few of the people in that group, I suddenly knew people there. And that made me want to go back the next week and the next week. And, you know, eventually I had friends throughout the whole instance. And every time it was like, I go there now and everyone who joins is basically on my friends list. And that's really the big draw. It was like meeting someone and then meeting so many more people from that.
Oh, that's great. How I wanted to get more involved with Moonlit is a combination of a few different stories. The first one involves music, because the very first Moonlit, I was just there, and I was I was quite nervous. I wanted to be more outgoing, and I tried my best to talk to people, but you know, it's still very hard when you're not used to doing that. But so as things happen, as chaos unfolds, people started just randomly playing some musical instruments. Specifically, someone in the crowd here, Lilac, started playing her trombone, and I'm just like, "What? You can play music in VR chat, and it was hilarious because she's playing trombone and keeping the controllers on. So that was hilarious to watch. And then so I got my guitar and people were like, "Oh, that sounds nice." I'm like, "Really?" And so then like by the next few moonlets I had in the old world, I just started playing like cozy acoustic sets on one of the ledges after sort of the main events were done, and people seemed to really like that. At that point, some staff members noticed that I was doing that, and I said like, "Oh wow, that's really good." And specifically, the founder of the event, Sukino, one day they came up to me after I was done playing, and they approached me very slowly and they said, "You will play on stage one day." And I said, "Oh, okay, maybe." And then later that night, I texted them and I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so then I started playing on stage. I was the second performer to do that. After that, uh, there were two staff members who were mainly helping out. This Tsukino and another staff member. That second staff member ended up having to do other stuff, didn't have time for Moonlit anymore, and so now the event was extremely short-staffed. And so since I have a lot of experience in event management and coordination, IRL, I'm like, "Hey, I can help if you'd like me to." And so then an interview with 1B later, I was on the team and I started sort of working the event and found a lot of joy in that. And it's just grown from there. And it's been a lovely journey.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's very similar to Trix. Kind of since the start, it's been about the people and meeting new people and making new friends and everything. When I did eventually kind of get more comfortable talking to people, I realized like there's so many different kinds of people here with so many different interests and things like that. And every time you talk to someone, they're always super nice. They always want to chat with you, things like that. Um, so yeah, I had such a great time doing that that I would spend almost every moonlit just running around talking to people, finding someone that happened to be, setting alone somewhere or something like that, and trying to help them socialize, kind of get into moonlit the same way that I did early on. Sometimes you just need someone to like come over and say a few words to you, start a conversation or something like that, and then you're comfortable with it. You can kind of go from there. So for me, it's almost always been about that since the beginning, just trying to make it everyone comfortable, and bring people out and, help them find their voice, I guess, a little bit.
Absolutely. I remember I was fully in love with the community after just the first Moonlit, and I had made the commitment to try and show up to every single one I could, and I've only missed a couple. But when I was asked to join the staff and specifically asked if I would be interested in helping out with Moonlit by Double, I was over the moon, so to speak. But it's been an amazing experience ever since. Now, of course, we've kind of gone over this a little bit as well, but in terms of how Moonlit's grown or changed since you first joined, how has it changed, and what was one of the changes that surprised you the most?
So I guess for me, just the number of people visiting, honestly, like it's grown so much that yeah, every single week we almost hit cap and things like that. And that kind of brings like its own set of challenges. Making sure that people are in the, right avatars for it, or trying to like workshop what would we do if we need like an overflow instance and all this other kind of stuff, right? Um, so I guess, yeah, I'd say the number of people visiting, just the amount that the academy has grown in general has been probably the biggest change since I joined.
Yeah, change and growth have been a main theme of what we've been talking about so far for this whole panel. But I would just say that the change that surprised me the most was not just the amount of people that are showing up, but the amount of people that are helping to run it. For the first few dozen Moonlits, it was a one-person show. It was either Tsukino pretty much doing everything with a little bit of help from other staff, and then I was sort of hard carrying Moonlit for a while there, to my detriment. So it took some personal growth for me to finally start delegating things to other people, and in fact delegating my roles into 4 different roles total. And it's not surprising in a way. It should be expected that the event has only gotten better and more robust with more ideas and just more love into the event than ever before by expanding it to more people to help run it. Every single time someone new has come onto the Moonlit team, the event has gotten better, and letting people share what they love and what they think is the community is going to love. That's how I know that Moonlit will continue to grow forever and just keep getting better and better.
I think for me, the thing that surprised me the most was, I mean, despite all the like insane growth we've had and the addition of like performances and DJs and dancers, the creation of Moonlit Island was something that was kind of a pipe dream for us. It's our own amazing world that we have to host exclusively for just hosting. And compared to the old map we used to have, which, while, you know, charming and amazing in its own special way, it wasn't quite what we needed. And then one day when the world team said, yeah, we've got you, and they just kind of went to work in a week, built the most amazing world in VR chat I've ever seen. Second most amazing world in VR chat I've ever seen. And you know, it was something I never expected, and something I'm so happy to have and get to work in every week.
I don't remember much when I first joined. Like in August, I in 2023. I remember that performance of Rises the Moon. That's very much stuck in my memory, but I don't remember much else. I don't. Uh, but when I did first join, I do also remember there was not nearly as many people as it was now. Now there's like 16 people in queue, 80 people, 300 people. It feels like there's like 1,000 people wanting to get in every single week. And a lot of people are wanting to sign up as well. You don't have to wait for new performers every week. It seems like more people want to sign up. Just recently we had 2 new performers sign up, and it's wonderful seeing it grow even in the short period I've been here.
Kind of the same for me. The sheer number of people, honestly, because when I first started, I never had to wait in a queue or any of that, and then just the massive jump caught me off guard.
Oh yeah, the growth has truly been insane. I was really surprised to see just how quickly we could all have such an amazing event that everybody seems to want to join, everybody seems to want to participate in. But I do have to agree with Trix. I think the new world was the most surprising change for me. Loading in to start, I think it was my first official day actually helping out at a Moonlets, and all of a sudden we were doing an entirely new world. We were coming up with all of these new plans and everything. It was surprising, exciting, and I am so glad to have been part of that in some way, shape, or form. And for our next question, starting from Haley, how do you come up with the content that you provide for Moonlit Academy?
I mainly base it off the theme of whatever it is. So, like, last time I played, it was glistening gemstones, or glittering gemstones, one of the two. And it just gave the groundwork for me. It was basically just anything that had that starstruck feel, basically.
Well, for me, the theme does matter a lot. Very often I write theme compositions where the title of the song is just literally copy pasted from the theme. Uh, and it's written about the theme, and it gives a lot of inspiration because while I do like writing a lot of new pieces just on my own, having a base to work off of really helps just get the inspiration flowing and know how to write it and what feelings you want to evoke. As well as in terms of like the covers, I do want to make them happier or fit better towards the Moonlit's if not the theme for that night, then the general vibe of Moonlit. And I also just want to have songs that can touch people as well, touch people's hearts and evoke a lot of emotions. And also, the themes can be very amazing to write, but they can also be very, very, very difficult to write. Like Boats and Buccaneers was the very recent one, and that one, it killed me to write that one. I had to listen to the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack like 100 times just to get it right. But I did get it right. So it does, it improves my skills as a composer as well.
That is a very good point that you both brought up as well. For those who don't know, our Moonlit Academy events are themed and have a different theme each week. And so as we move into the coordinator's perspective for this, I'd also like to posit the question, how do you come up with themes and what decides when they get featured?
I think, at least as far as I'm aware, coming up with a theme is typically kind of spontaneous. It's like an idea comes to mind. It's like, oh, we should write this down. And like it gets put in a chat and everyone's like, I like that. I'm not sure. And then we look at when the next available date is and we're like, let's mark it in and we'll work on like a good like blurb for it, a good description. And then as for how we create our own content, I think, recently we had a meeting on discussing new wind downs, which is kind of us working together to work on new activities to kind of calm down the event and end it at the very end and just kind of put people in like a relaxed mood, ready for bed a lot of the time because it can be kind of late. And the most impressive part about that for me is the fact that a lot of the wind downs are like themed by each host that runs them, and it's kind of like a piece of what they're super passionate about put into this that they like can share with my controllers, the whole community. And yeah, that's that's I think the most interesting thing for me.
Yeah, the creation of themes is, yeah, just as Trix said, quite spontaneous. Especially if we're starting to run out of them, be like, oh no, we need a theme next week. Hurry, hurry. Desserts, yeah. And then you just kind of go from there. Just sort of pick something. Ideally, we try to think of something that might be fun to customize your avatar for. And there's actually quite a few people that will customize their avatars every single week to match the theme, which has been really cool. There's one dancer, Zinlin Quartz, who always does that, and she said that the event has been really fun for her to get better at avatar creation and stuff. She has the coolest outfits. So that's an aspect of themes that I really like. As far as just how we come up with stuff, it's just what I sort of said earlier about people just being honest about what they think the community will love, what they themselves love, and what want to share with other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly about what can we do to help everyone have more fun, right? Like if it's avatar customization or songwriting themes and things like that, we always try to think of things that help promote all of that and help the community, have a little more fun, create some of their own fun as well with avatar customizations and stuff. Now my controllers are breaking as well. But yeah, as far as like wind downs and icebreakers go, like it's all about what can we make that is fun and we can get as many people involved as possible. Like whenever we create those, we have to think about all the different things that go into it. Like, will desktop people be able to do this as well as like Quest users and all this other kind of stuff? That's something we have to kind of take into account when we do wind downs or icebreakers and things like that.
Absolutely. I know coming up with themes is definitely one of the things I really enjoy a lot, especially creative writing style, and getting to make those blurbs has been one of the things I started with in terms of contributing to Moonlit, and one of the things I really enjoy doing. And then getting to further that and bring that creative writing into short stories to help people relax at the end of events every now and then has been just truly a joy. For our next question, what inspires you to continue playing at or hosting Moonlit, starting with Jess?
I mean, it's just seeing every week how much we help people in different ways. Like, for example, just running around a Moonlit instance after the event is over and seeing all the drawings and like cozy messages and things like saying thank you or wishing other people like a good day or just like anything. All of that really pushes me to keep going because I can tell that, you know, what we're doing is very important to a lot of people. And it's something that a lot of people enjoy every single week. It's a part of their routine and everything now. So yeah, I just kind of get pushed forward to keep hosting because I can tell that it's making a difference.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way as that. I feel that if we're zooming out, like us as trans people, we don't have a lot of spaces in general that are like this. So Moonlit Academy is just part of Trans Academy and its mission to provide these spaces where you can truly be yourself, you can find yourself, you can create yourself. And it's so obvious from being at Moonlit that that's really what it is. It is that safe space. It is that amazing place to be yourself. I there's no way that I can go to one of those events and not see the difference that we're making. And it's also, of course, the gratitude of people who have taken the time to stop and tell me or someone else, be like, hey, this is really cool, this helps me a lot. Like you've seen people on this very panel are very kind and telling me that I've helped them in that way. And there are few things more important to me than knowing that I'm helping others, that I'm making a difference, that I'm making the world a better place in my own tiny way. That just, it feels good. And there's no way that I'd want to stop doing that. I just fully believe in everything that Moonlit Academy is.
I think for me, uh, just being able to run around the instance. I think if you see any of us hosting anytime, we're never standing still. For the majority of the time, we're like sprinting around between people. But, you know, while doing that, I get to sprint past people that I've known. Some of them, like, I met that day. Other people I've known for months now. And I get to, like, say, hi, how's it going? Catch up super fast and sprint around and just kind of, like, ping-ponging between different, like, friend groups that I've watched form. And it's so cool to just to see that development over time and get to know people better and then see them each week. And, you know, that's what really inspires me is I just so many new amazing people that I've got to see and watch them like express themselves and, you know, really become themselves.
For me, what inspires me to continue playing at Moonlit is the very, very strong desire to get better, just to keep improving my performances every week. Because looking back at my first ever performances, uh, I cringe so hard the entire time I'm watching like it's a horror movie, waiting to see how I screwed it up this time. But whenever I do well, whenever I do well, that feeling of accomplishment guides me through the entire week. And the desire to get better and better, to provide a better performance every week, and to improve my skills, every skill I have, from everything from time management to composing, which is not a skill I even expected to improve, to singing especially, all of them are improved a lot throughout Moonlit and the strict Wednesday deadline. And yeah, to continue playing every week and getting better every week, it's what inspires me to keep playing.
For me, it's the pure excitement, the surprise of everyone when it comes to what is played, whether it be from a simple yay or from all the way to a full blown freak out, I love this song type of situation.
Absolutely amazing. Community feedback has been one of the biggest motivators, I think, for all of us to really just feel comfortable and really want to keep going each and every day. Even when things get a little difficult, we know that people enjoy everything we do. People love everything we do. And I've had so many one-on-one conversations with folks attending a Moonlit just thanking us for having such a lovely event. It's really helped motivate me. And I hope everyone else as well, just to keep on going. And speaking of technical difficulties, when they do arise, how do you handle technical or organizational difficulties, and what was the hardest challenge you had to work around, starting with Haley?
When it comes to technical difficulties for me, it's usually a spur of the moment panic at first, then compose yourself and quickly figure out the best way to correct it. And the hardest challenge that I've had to work around has been my chaotic sleep schedule, in all honesty. Because I can go from being awake all day to needing to sleep all day, or I can be up for a few hours, sleep the rest of the day. There is just no set coordination for my sleep schedule, so working around that has just been chaotic.
Yeah, I understand that. Sleeping, yeah. But the way I deal with technical difficulties have always been 90% tears, 10% Google, and 100% praying that this works. I have had to reinstall audio drivers, reinstall voice meter like 15 times at this point. I almost broke my microphone just trying to get it to work. I've wanted noise suppression has been my enemy for like 17 moon. For every moon that I've been in, noise suppression has screwed it up somehow. Even if I don't have it on, the panic of it maybe being on already screws up every. It's usually just tears. The worst thing I've ever had to deal with by far was my first ever performance. Everything in that performance went so terribly wrong, so badly. First of all, physically, I had to deal with my mic stand just simply refusing to exist. It wanted to fall apart every single second. Every time I put it on something, it fell over. Every time I even like supported it, I removed everything from my piano, put like 3 books to support it, and even then it still fell down. And even when it came to the performance, it swayed to the right every once in a while. And so I was not singing to the mic, I was singing to the left of the mic, which turned out my voice to be lower than I wanted. And speaking of the piano, I had the USB.
You're okay.
Broke.
It was fine. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it was fine.
The USB broke. I had to panic buy an aux cable and use an aux cable and connect that to my audio interface. And that's how I even play piano to this day. And I connected to my audio interface. And then I had to deal with voice meter being voice meter. I had to reinstall voice meter banana, voice meter potato, voice meter, every type of voice meter to get it to properly work. And then when the day of the performance finally came, there were thankfully no technical difficulties, but I do want to do an honorable mention towards, I did perform well better than alternative ones. That was like my 3rd or 4th performance. Voice meter sabotaged me by making my mic very wavy. And that, I didn't notice it at the time, but looking back at the VOD, I was so angry with voice meter. Trix knows how angry I was. With voice meter, it was genuine. I was by
scared.
seeing how worked up I got, it's made me.
I think we've all had
made me tears.
experienced the curse of voice meter.
I will do
That
a
performance
quick
also
aside
went
here and
great.
say, yeah. Okay, first of all, I never would have known exactly how chaotic it was, but two, yes, voice meter is very difficult to work with. But I think in general, I think most musicians would agree that playing in VR is a lot harder than playing an IRL gig because there's no monitoring. You don't know unless you have a crazy setup that I don't know how to do. It's very hard to set up monitoring, so you don't know how you did until you listen to the VOD, and then you're just like, like for most of my performances, I had everything on stereo. If you can hear my cat, he says hi. I'm doing an interview, buddy. Can you go away? I'll pet you later. Anyway, yeah, I had it on stereo, so like my guitar actually wasn't coming through voice meter. Only my voice was, so you just sort of hear like this distant guitar just somewhere in the ether, and you can hear my voice just fine. So I'm like, huh, everyone says my guitar's quiet, even though I turned it all the way up. Weird. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm done whining about voice meter. That was a skill issue on my part, but it sometimes voice meter does do strange things.
All right, go ahead
I,
and
I
take it
recently
away,
started
Trix.
using I recently started using voice meter. I've yet to have the fear put into me.
That's
First port
good.
of call whenever something goes wrong is go and ask Rory for help. That usually works. Um, if that doesn't work, well, for starters, because VR Chat likes to update every Wednesday, they actually, as kind as they are, like to do it after Moonlit EU. So I'm fine. I'm great. I'm having an amazing time chatting to friends, and then like a DM goes through the system going like there was an update, and then the whole NA team is like we have to fix this. But we've definitely worked super hard on mitigating every possible issue we could have. I think at this point, out of every error that's arisen, we have a solution. And a new thing can come at us, and maybe we won't be prepared. But if the mic breaks, we have a workaround. If the video player stops, we've learned how to use voice meter to blast the DJs through our mouths on our avatars. And we've got a few other hidden tricks. It's my name. Just in case things go awry.
Yeah, I'll now speak to this as a someone who runs the event rather than someone who plays at it. It's hard to pick just one horrible technical glitch, so I'll just sort of rapid fire them. The video player breaking and us not being able to play the DJ set. So I had to blast the DJ set through my microphone, just as Trix said, just sort of exactly like Lilo and Stitch, where I'm standing on stage and I'm just like. People thought that was funny. I thought it was funny. I had a great view of everyone chilling. So that was great. The creation of Moonlit Island, our lovely bespoke world, actually took place because when we were streaming our events, the old world that we were using, if you had a VR chat camera on it, it would flash like crazy, and we try really hard to be accessible to everyone, and that includes photosensitivity concerns. So when we saw that our stream was potentially dangerous to people's photosensitivity, we're like, oh, we gotta do this. So the solution to that problem was to make our own world where our lovely world team controls everything, so we can actually update things. But I think my least favorite glitch that ever happened is this is mainly for me as a performer. In the old world, you had to physically hold a microphone in order for the stage boost to work, unlike our stages here at the Academy and at Moonlit Island that just have a natural stage boost. So if you're playing guitar and singing, you need to find a way to make your controller hold the microphone and like put it on the ground or something and like hold it with your foot and just keep going and hope that it doesn't and then it does, and then it's yes, this having stage boost and not the microphone you have to hold is it makes a big difference. And of course the obvious answer is like, well, just play in desktop. I'm like, no, playing in VR is much too fun. That's non-negotiable. But in general, the solution to managing problems at Moonlit is just raw determination and ingenuity on the spot. Okay, one last story. One of our lovely full body tracking composers, dancers, Unknown Corner, they unbound their jump button so they don't press it accidentally while they're dancing. But that meant they couldn't get on stage. So I changed into a little froggy taxi avatar, jumped next to them, said, "Get in the car!" And then they're like, "Oh yes!" And then they got in the car and got on stage and they did their dance. So just silly things like that. You'll be surprised how good silliness is at finding solutions.
Yes, technical difficulties are part of every single moment at Moonlit. I think we have encountered all kinds of things, from video player errors to not being able to access stage to microphone boost not working. But each and every one we find workarounds to, and I still think the one I remember the most was, it had to have been when you had to start blasting the DJ set through your own mic using voice meter. That was an ingenious move. If you would like to share as well, Jesski.
Sure. I mean, as you probably just saw, I mean, with VR, there's all kinds of technical difficulties. For instance, your headset running out of battery. But yeah, just also for Moonlit, normally it's a VR chat patch day. I don't know if anyone mentioned that. So sometimes we do have instances where a patch happens right before Moonlit, and we're like running around trying to figure out like if the video player still works and stuff like that. So it's VR. All kinds of technical issues happen, but it's important to be able to figure out a way around it and solve the problem on the fly.
Absolutely. And speaking of figuring out things and solutions on the fly, how has performing and hosting become easier or harder over time, and in what ways?
I would say, let's see, I guess I would say that with the amount of people we have now, it does become a little harder, especially from like trust and safety standpoint sometimes, and like just making sure everyone's kind of heading the same direction, following the same rules and things like that. That can be a little challenging sometimes. But I mean, we haven't really run into anything too crazy that we really haven't been able to handle or figure out solutions for. So
Well, don't jinx it. I would say overall, hosting and coordinating the event has become easier. You might not expect that given the just raw complexity of the event, and everything like that. There's probably a good 20 or 30 little checkboxes we go through on our preparations. It's multiple hours of work, but the reason that it's easier is because there's a team that does it. I can fully rely on everyone on the Moonlit team to keep things running. Like I took a vacation um for an entire month, and the event just got better while I was gone. Like that's incredible. I have full faith in my friends, my coworkers who help run the events, and just having that team, having these people to help, it makes all the difference in the world. It's really night and day, and the teamwork just lets the event keep getting better and better, and lets it be more robust when things inevitably do go wrong. We can rely on each other, and it's really quite amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. I mean, you were saying when you first started, it was just you and just Sukino for EU, and it was like hectic, and there was 1,000 tasks to be done, and just so much work. And even when you divided it, it's still a lot of work. But as someone who, you had Jess and Cassie helping you, and it was just me to you for a while before my co-host Crimson Candy came along, and having Crimson, it's like day and night. Crimson does so much to help me out, and it's amazing that like the more stuff we can do and have time to do and add to the event, just because there's more of us who are able to take part and help out and just cover some of the tasks that we otherwise don't have time to do if there's only just one host.
It's become a lot easier for me, mainly because of nervousness. I was My heart rate was probably well over 200 the first time I started performing. I was so scared for some, even though I had practiced a lot, I was so nervous when I first got on stage. But then, once I got over that, every other performance has gotten easier and easier and easier. Even if the actual prep has gotten way harder because I'm taking on harder and harder pieces and harder tasks, I know because I've gotten to know the community a lot better that when I perform, I'm not going to be ridiculed or anything. All the anxieties have been proven very false. And I know that when I get on stage, what's most important is I am confident and I put on a good show. And nervousness does not make a good show, it makes it way worse. So, time has definitely improved that a lot.
For me, it's gotten a bit of both easier and harder over time. It's gotten easier because I'm not having to worry about the anxieties and everything, the panic that came with it when I first performed. And it's gotten harder at the same time because, well, there's only so many songs in existence that you can use for a set.
That is very true. There are so many challenges, and anxiety, especially, is a really big starting challenge. I still remember, I think it was the first story time I ever did. I was a ball of nerves, just completely on edge, not knowing how things were going to go, not knowing if I was going to trip up on my own words. But I took the advice of a certain double and didn't overthink it. Not overthinking has helped a lot, and it's been really great to learn how to just let my team be able to take care of the things that I might fall behind in at times. Now, as we are approaching to about 10 minutes out from the conclusion of this, I'll go ahead and ask, a year from now, where would you like to see Moonlits? Starting with Haley.
I'd love to see Moonlit even bigger and better than it already is. The just sheer number of people, the scale, the excitement, the number of performers, just having it bigger and better.
Mm, uh, I still don't really know what else to improve. As it is now, Moonlit for me is perfect. More people would be nice, but 80 people is already a lot for my computer. Every 80 people, my computer is already dying from heat stroke most of the time. I don't think we can handle any more than 80 people. But maybe variation in the opening activities, the ending activities would help, as well as free bacon. Definitely free bacon.
I think, I mean, it's just so nice as it is, but 1 year from now, maybe, just for one event, you don't have to do it as a permanent thing. We go to the moon. It's just an idea. It could be fun, like a little trip. Um, that said, it's such an amazing event. It's hard to think of where I want it to go, and you know, ultimately, I think in my heart, I kind of just want to still be here and still be doing it with everyone who I get to work with. That sounds like the best outcome for me.
Yeah, for me, as far as where I hope Moonlit is in a year, I hope it's a parallel of what it is right now, having been about a year old now, where, as I said very early on in the panel, where in many ways it's the same event that it was then, but in other ways it's completely different. So I'm hoping for more of that, where a year from now it's still the exact same vibe, where you know it's Moonlit, but there's all this new cool stuff that I can't even come up with right now. Probably because we need, there's going to be some more people who join the team and are going to have these ideas. And I'm just like, wow, that is such a good idea. Let's do that. As far as other changes, a year from now, I'm hoping in general for staff we have some more diversity, some more transmasc representation. That would make me happy. We're always trying to get the boys involved a bit more, so that's definitely something that I'd like to see. I'm very glad Crimson is with us now, and he does they do so much for Transmask. The tea time, that event is awesome, and they do so much for Moonlit as well. So I definitely would like some more Transmask staff members to help show all of our Transmask community members that this is for you too. Yeah, there's a lot of trans femmes, but you're just as important.
Absolutely. It's been so amazing to see this event grow, having only come in, I guess, halfway at this point. And seeing where it's gone now, I can only wait with bated breath to see where it goes from here. We already have some amazing ideas coming through the pipeline from some of the newer members as well. And I just want to see it be the same core event, but with all the growth and new ideas that can be brought into it. For our closing question, I will go ahead and ask sort of two questions here. First off, how, when, and where can people who want to join Moonlit join it?
Oh, is that for me? Well, the Moonlit Academy, there are two of them, as you might have seen. There's Moonlit Academy EU and Moonlit Academy NA. The best way to get involved in all that is to go to our Discord server, discord.gg/transacademy, and go to the event tabs of our Discord server. From there, you can see the start times of both of those events in your time zone. So that's how you get going. All you need from there is that they're always group plus instances. So definitely make sure you are part of the trans group. And then from there, you're pretty much good to go. All you need to do is show up, and the rest will be there. Just yeah, and I really hope to see you there. Everyone who I already love seeing there, and everyone who I have yet to meet.
Can I add? Another good way to get into it is if you come up to any of us. We love talking to people and meeting new people. And if you come up and say, hey, this Moonlit thing, how does it work? You're going to get it'll be hard to stop us from talking. And that way you'll already know someone there. So
yeah, definitely.
You will
if you don't know
immediately
if you don't know anyone, come talk to us. Yeah. Definitely come bother the staff.
Please.
That's what we're here for.
Unless we're on stage.
Our ears are specially trained to catch mentions of Moonlets. If we hear it in instance, if we hear it in the main instance, we'll be just flying up and saying, oh, you'd like to know more?
Somebody say Moonlit.
I could tell you the dates. I could also convert it to your time zone. It's a weird skill that I've learned just from doing it so many times.
That's impressive. I just tell people go to Discord server. Discord does it for you.
Yes.
I should do that.
And from
I like your method.
Thank you.
For folks who would like to get more involved in Moonlit or perform themselves, or perhaps have DJ sets that they'd like to share with the community, what advice would you give to them?
Do it. Just do it. Don't get in your head about it. Don't let anxiety tell you that you're not good, that people are gonna ridicule you or anything like that. Don't listen to your anxiety. If you have a talent that you want to show off and you think you can do well at Moonlit, then go and do it. Stop thinking about it. I went into an anxiety spiral like 5 million times before I actually went and filed the ticket for Moonlit. But if you just try to just do it and perform it, once you're done with the first performance, all of that anxiety will hopefully fade away. And if you continue doing it, it's going to get better and better and better. So essentially my advice is to try to ignore your anxiety as much as possible and perform whatever you want to perform.
For me, it's just, I gotta agree with Leah, just do it. Just don't sit there and think, oh, no one will like it. Oh, it's... Don't listen to the little voice inside your head telling you, no, don't do it. Just take a leap of faith.
And I'll add on top of
Absolutely.
that, from a technical standpoint, the way to let us know that you're interested in performing or DJing at Moonlit is either talk to us and we can just get everything going that way. But the very best way is again through our Discord server. You go to file a ticket, and then you just say I wanna play at Moonlit, and then we're like, cool, let's work out the details and get you on stage. So that's it really. Just fill out a ticket, and yes, it's just do it exactly as Leia and Haley said.
Absolutely. Every journey starts with a step, and Moonlit has been the start of many people's absolutely amazing journeys. With that, I think that brings our panel to a close. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Double. Thank you, Trix. Thank you, Leia. And thank you, Haley. And of course, thank you, Jess, who unfortunately had some technical issues, as we do. But it has been an absolute pleasure. And we hope to see you
Thank you
Wednesday
so much,
nights.
Cassie.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It
Mhm.
was a
Thank you all
pleasure.
for
Come on
being here.
Wednesdays.
You're a lovely audience. Yes, please come to
We
Moonlit.
are.
Come
Oh,
to
tell
Moonlit.
us if you met us this way. Be like, hey, this is how we met you at the panel. We can be like, yeah, you were there, and we'll give you like a sticker or
Yeah.
something.
And same with Twitch
Yes.
chat too. So show up,
Yes.
come hang out.
If you come from
Um,
Twitch, oh, I'd be so happy.
Yeah.
I disconnected my controllers and mics now.
changed my name from Twitter.